Hey everybody, welcome to Two Comic Book Dudes. We're doing DC Rebirth Week 2. That's DC Comics Rebirth as opposed to like the Rebirth of Washington DC or something or whatever, the Discovery Channel, I don't know, anything like that. So, yeah,
Yes.
just want to clarify.
Okay. Okay. Hopefully, if
So,
they come to our channel and are watching this, then they probably know it's comics related. So
yeah, we hope so. So there were 5 books out this week on the DC Rebirth highway, and I picked them all up and read them all, and yeah. So we're going to talk about them. Justin got a couple, so we're going to go back and forth. We'll kick it right off. So you definitely have to go and watch our DC Rebirth, DC Universe Rebirth #1 video to get an idea of what's going on. If you haven't been reading DC Comics since the '80s, then you might not know about all the history that we talk about in that video.
yeah.
Then last week we reviewed Green Arrow, Green Lanterns, Batman. What was the other one? Oh, Superman, right. So we had those 4 books last week, which they were, Green Arrow was good, kind of bringing us back to where we wanted to be, really.
Batman
From
had
kind of
nothing to do with anything.
no, although it does kind of play into Detective Comics this week, which we'll talk about a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. So we'll start with Action Comics. This again, DC is going back to the original numbering, so this is Action Comics 957, and it was pretty good. Lex Luthor, wearing the Superman suit, comes to the rescue, seemingly in a situation that he engineered. So that's what it seems like. And Clark and Lois are moving in with a little boy, John, right? This is his name.
Jonathan White, yeah.
John,
Clark and Lois' son.
Yes. So they're moving into wherever, some little place, and they're watching on TV as Luthor is saying, "I'm your new Superman now," and of course Lois and Clark are both like, "We don't trust him because we know he's bad on our world. He's not necessarily shown that he's bad yet in the New 52 world, but still don't trust him."
He was up until like Forever Evil.
Oh yeah, right.
Since Forever Evil, he's been on the Justice League,
which is crazy. Okay, so Superman flies to the rescue. Big fight between him and Luthor. Luthor's like, "You've got it all wrong." And there's some other really cool stuff. I'm going to spoil the crap out of this because it is pretty good. So if you haven't picked this up yet, you definitely have to go get it. There is another Clark. So we know Superman is dead from the New 52. He's gone, right? He is ashes in an urn. They buried him in Smallville. He's gone.
Oh yeah, and he doesn't have that Matrix,
the regeneration matrix. So he doesn't have that, so he can't come back. Maybe they'll find some way, whatever. But this is our old Superman from the universe pre-52. So this fight, then Clark comes running out of the Daily Bugle to cover the story. And it's like, but if you're there, and then he's, what? Yeah, so everybody's confused. Then we see Mr. Oz, who was introduced in DC Universe Rebirth, who is Ozymandias from The Watchmen, seemingly, click some buttons and talk about his plan, and all of a sudden, boom, there's Doomsday. In his original shroud and tubes and goggles and all that crap from the way back in the 80s or the 90s.
From his original appearance of breaking out from underneath the ground.
And that was truly an awesome scene in this book. So this is great. If you love the old Superman stuff, I mean, I really, really enjoyed the death of Superman. I love the death of Superman now. I liked reading those stories. It was sad. I mean, that was the first major super death, and it was, other than Captain Marvel, I think he died before, but that was the major super death of DC, in the 90s, and it was cool. So this is great. I mean, this is really a good one to pick up. I'm going to continue to get Action Comics. They've sold me on this one for sure.
Nice.
Yep. So how about Detective? What did you think?
Detective also went back to the old numbering. So this is 934. And this was more or less a bringing the team back together type of book. Batman, gets a hold of Batwoman, meets up with her, and finally acknowledges how good she is, and that he respects her, and that he needs her help because something's coming, and he needs her to help get everybody else in shape and in line so that they won't die.
Yeah. That seems to be that seems to be the message.
Yeah. So we got Batwoman. We got Tim Drake, which is Red Robin, even though he's wearing his old Robin uniform.
Yeah.
Except I didn't like they changed his cape. It's green instead of black. It used to be black.
Yeah, it's green on the outside and yellow underneath instead of black and yellow.
It was always black and yellow. That was it. We also have Spoiler, Stephanie Brown, and we have Cassandra Cain back, and I can't remember what they called her.
Orphan.
What they called her?
Orphan.
Yeah. Orphan.
I like her. I always liked her before. So
yeah, her run as Batgirl is probably one of my favorite runs of Batgirl.
Yeah, much better than the current Batgirl.
Yeah, and as a surprise,
didn't show up in this book.
Yeah, but as a surprise, they also recruit Clayface.
Right.
Which, Batman's like, look, do you want to do something worthwhile? Do you want to, and then we'll try to help you also,
Right.
So he kind of throws that in. But we're going to offer you to do better, not be a criminal,
Yeah.
Because that's not what you were,
Right. I thought it was cool because he says, the only difference between him and us is that we were given a second chance and he wasn't. That's the only thing. And so, because he was an actor, right? This is Clayface, the original Clayface, right?
The original one, yeah.
So I like that character. I love that character. So this is pretty cool. There's so many jokes too. It's kind of funny because it's like, okay, everybody, we're racing to whatever, and he's like, seriously, because they all take off on their zip lines.
Yeah. Like, how do I follow you? But I mean, this one opens up with Azrael being attacked by someone. Batman intervenes, and the person's gone. Azrael's like, "No, it was you that was attacking me."
Yeah, because it was a Batman-looking somebody, but it was all shaded.
Right, and then there's also these little probe cameras that are flying around watching everybody, and Batman knows that they're watching all the vigilantes in Gotham.
Right.
That's why he's wanting to bring the team together. So overall, I thought I really enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to stick with Detective Comics for a while.
Much better than Batman last week.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and it was interesting because he introduces Duke as like the new Bat Boy or whatever in Batman, but he doesn't show up in Detective Comics, even though he mentions him. Because he was talking about, I'm training blah blah blah, and I'm training Duke. I started with Duke, but then he doesn't show up in part of this group. So it's kind of weird. So.
Yeah, hopefully they'll just shuffle him off to like some team or something.
Or keep him in Batman and I'll just stop getting it. So.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so next book. Wonder Woman Rebirth, #1. I really liked this book. This was really good. Okay, I liked Wonder Woman back in the old days. All right, I liked Wonder Woman pre-52. I liked some of the stuff that was going on, like with Trinity and with not Trinity. What was it called when they all three left? Do you remember that? They all three left everybody for a while and then came back, and it was good. Anyway, I liked that the storylines around her. I've liked some of the stuff that I've read in the New 52, where her and Superman were a thing, and where kind of her battles that she's gone through, her interactions with the Justice League, been great. So I didn't really know what to expect going into this one, but it was cool the way it's laid out because it's like, here's the story. And it tells, she was born of blah, blah, blah. Or she was created as a little clay baby. Or here's this other origin. And she says, I don't know which story is true. I don't know who I really am. And that's really what this is all about, is her trying to figure out what's the truth. She defeated Ares, and so she became a god of war. She takes that helmet at one point in this issue, and she's like, I should not be able to do that because this is basically a symbol. It's a helmet of power for a god, and I just destroyed it. That means it's fake. Somebody's lying to me.
Yep.
So she takes the lasso because she's like, here I am, two parts. I'm truth, the lasso, Wonder Woman, and I'm war, which is the death of truth. And so she wraps the lasso around her arm, and she holds it, and she makes herself tell the truth. Who am I? And she goes, I'm Wonder Woman. I'm daughter of the Amazons. I don't really know. So it's like, wow,
Yeah, but that's a good issue. Everything that she's been through up to this point, like everything that's just happened, with her becoming the God of War and everything else that's gone on, this was a good it's one of those issues you kind of needed to see the character just like reflect on everything and try to figure out what's going on with her life before we get to the new number one.
Yeah, and this was it right here. And you
Nice.
have been deceived. That was it. So somebody's lied to her about who she really is. And so she goes to Olympus and she says, I'm going to Olympus. I'm going to find out what's going on. And I mean, I love this spread. This is just an awesome, awesome spread. Right after that, she shatters this mirror and it's just all of the fragments of her story. Multiple facets of who she has been and could be and will be. And it's
Superman
really
with red underwear.
right. There's Superman with red underwear, and then there's the death of Hera and a whole bunch of different. I mean, just a whole bunch of different things.
Like everything
So-
that's happened in her like history.
Right, and then she
In that
changes
mirror.
into that costume.
Yeah.
She kind of takes the old costume off, and she changes into the new movie costume. So this is the way they transition her into that. And then she throws aside the helmet, and she says, "Olympus now." And she gets there, and it's like this. It's red, and it's forbidding. And she fights these things, and let's see here. She says, "This is not Olympus. Change the story as much as you like. Whoever you are, you will not succeed." So it says, "This lie is afraid of me," she says, "and I will have the truth." So it's really cool. I mean, it's she's on the hunt for who she really is. I think this is a good one. I will probably pick up Wonder Woman. Green Lantern's interested me. Green Arrow, I like Green Arrow, but it's not one I'm going to add to my list. Superman, maybe. Batman, no. Detective, maybe, probably not. But action, definitely. Wonder Woman, definitely. So, Aquaman, Rebirth #1, very, very good. And you didn't read either one of these, right? Okay.
No,
So Aquaman, Rebirth #1, pretty cool. This is really kind of like, what's Aquaman now? He's the in between the surface dwellers and the Atlanteans. That's kind of what he does. He keeps the balance between underwater and overwater kind of thing. And it's a good story overall. Dan Abnett is writing it, so it's written very well. Really like the way the story's put together. He's fighting the can't remember the name of the group, but it's like a terrorist group. The Deluge. He's fighting the Deluge, this Atlantean terrorist group, and there's some cool fight scenes. You got some pretty neat fighting going on, and some big old giant monsters that they're riding on. But overall, it's being narrated by someone. And at first I thought it was Mara, but as the story goes through, it's not. And you get the idea that there are people on both sides, people under, in Atlantis and underwater, who like him and don't like him, people on the surface who like him and don't like him. He's been marginalized for the most part by a lot of the superheroes because of his powers, and people think he talks to fish, but he doesn't talk to fish, and they do a lot of clarification. He has a telepathic connection with fish, but most of them aren't intelligent enough to carry on a conversation, so he can influence them.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and actually look at his power set, he's almost on par with Superman.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically. So, strength, speed, whatever.
Yeah.
Plus he can communicate with fish.
Right. And he can control water to a point. So that's even another plus that Superman doesn't have. So he sits down with Mara at this little diner, kind of fish diner place where him and his dad used to come, and talks with her about what needs to happen, where to go from here. Because him and her before they haven't really been close, and now they're getting closer. And in the DC Universe Rebirth, he proposed to her. Right. So we're not really seeing that, but we're kind of seeing the two of them holding hands and talking and blah, blah, blah. But in the end, this guy who is narrating, he says, and then I will finish. So basically, I will begin with Mara, because that's who he loves now. This guy is gonna focus on Mara and destroy her. That will be a mortal wound, he says. Blah, blah, blah. Then I will finish the man himself. For I know, whatever else he tries to be, Aquaman is a murderer.
Black Manta.
And so it's Black Manta, the most racist name for a supervillain ever. But it's really cool. I mean, it's Black Manta's son, right? Taking over the Isn't that Black Manta's son taking over for him?
No, because Black Manta's son is Calder, who is Aqualad.
Oh, okay. Still cool. So anyway, so we've got Black Manta coming in the picture. I don't know what his role has been up to now because, like I said, I haven't been reading Aquaman. But this was good. It was a good book overall. Not enough to influence me to pick it up, but it was good.
Yeah, I've just never been able to get into Aquaman. I don't know why. I tried with a few of the New 52 issues, and I tried with Aquaman and the Others. Jeff Johns was doing that one too, but couldn't really ever get into him.
Yeah, well, I like Dan Abnett. I may give this an issue or two just to see how it goes. So I really like the old Aquaman, like when he lost his hand and he got the water hand. That was so awesome. It was like my favorite stuff. But that was a long time ago.
When he had the hook?
No, when he had, well, yeah, but then he got the water hand.
Oh,
from
yeah.
the Lady of the Lake. The whole Arthurian legend came to be, and he got the Lady of the Lake, gave him the water hand. It was so awesome. Anyway. All right, last book for this week. Let's move. It's 9 o'clock. Don't you have to go watch Game of Thrones?
I do. It's Flash Rebirth. And so this to me this book tied in with the actual DC Universe Rebirth more so than anything else. That's right. That's right. We're going. But for the first half of the issue is not really anything that spectacular, other than we get Godspeed, who just kind of flashes up and says, I'm gonna kill them all, Flash, and then he just kind of disappears. So Barry's just kind of stressed out, doing work, normal work, and but then it leads into him meeting Wally, which is what we saw in Rebirth.
Right.
And kind of going.
Be sure you read DC Universe Rebirth. So it's like it's like we're overlapping. Part of the book happens before that, and then
Right. Which there was another book that did that same thing. Maybe it was one of the last week books. I don't remember, but it kind of did the same thing. We're halfway through, then we picked up with Rebirth. Mm-hmm. So I like that aspect of it. We get more of Barry and Wally kind of talking, going through what has happened and things like that. Wally explains a little bit more of what he felt. That someone's actually watching them, and of course, Barry's like, "Well, I gotta go tell Batman."
Right.
He's like, "Batman will know what to do." So I thought that was, very, very fitting, because if there is one person in the DC universe of who you're gonna go tell something and hope that they can help you and figure it out, it's definitely Batman.
Right.
So I thought that was really cool. But as they go back and forth, and Batman kind of is figuring it out, they agree not to tell anybody else yet.
Because he shows them the button.
The button, yep.
With the bean juice on it. So
they know what's going on. But realistically, if they went to the Justice League now, they'd be like, so there's this thing that's happening.
Right. Or that happened, and now they're watching us?
Yeah.
Are they going to hurt us? Or who are they? Yep. We don't know.
Batman's not going to do anything without more information, so.
Right.
I thought that was really good. It set the tone for this book, I thought, really, really good. Just how it's going to go, how it's going to kind of flow. The only thing that I didn't love about this book was the art. And I think that's just because I'm so used to seeing Brett Booth draw the Flash, because he did for like the last 20 or so issues.
Yeah.
So it's something I'm gonna have to get used to, but I'm definitely gonna stick with the Flash, I think.
Yeah, it's not bad art. It's just different.
No, it's not at all.
I kind of liked it. I mean, I liked the lines and the way he did the moving, and I thought it was good. So overall, 5 books this week. What do we want to give the whole week? If you were going to go out and buy them all, would you suggest that to buy all the one-shots this week?
If you're just interested in the big overarching story of DC Rebirth, I would say that you could get Flash and Wonder Woman, and you wouldn't have to get the rest. Action Comics too, because it is kind of tying in with Mr. Oz. I keep wanting to call him Dr. Oz because I'm like waiting for him to give diet advice or something. But right. This guy's on TV show now. So you could get those 3. If you're a big Batman fan or Bat Family fan, you definitely want to get Detective. Yeah. Aquaman, that's just up to You.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those where I don't see it being like whoa, but I do. I mean I thought, man, there's a lot of words in this book. Sometimes you open them up and you go, oh, geez. But as I read right through it. It's like this. The story was great. It flowed very well. It sets the stage for this book, like you were talking about Flash and everything. It sets the tone. There's maybe a little more of a political slant because you've got the battle between the people underwater and the people on the land who really have this fight back and forth. But you've got Aquaman doing what he needs to do, and that is bringing those two worlds together. And I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, he is the king of Atlantis after all. So there's going to be some political jockeying in his books, I would think. But overall, like, I would definitely say if you can go to the shop and you can still find these books, because I think they're all sold out.
Yes.
If you can still find them, definitely pick them up, because if you're just a DC fan in general, you'll enjoy like just getting to reacquainted with the characters and how, like, seeing what little tweaks and changes they're making to get everything back on track.
Yeah, I agree. Even for the ones that weren't my biggest, like I've read all of them so far, and even the ones I didn't like so much, I still found very interesting because I didn't read a lot of New 52 stuff. And actually, looking back, I did read a lot of New 52 stuff, but I didn't really like stick with the book for 52 issues. I went back and forth and picked up things as I liked them. So it was good to get reacquainted with who the characters are now, who the creatures are now,
who the
characters are now, and how they're playing forward. So, I would recommend at least picking them up. Now I know Flash #1 is sold out. It is already selling for like $15 on eBay, which is crazy. Other things, I went into my local shop and there were a few variant covers still on the wall, but all the regular covers were gone. So I may go pick up some variants just to the other books. But yeah, Flash is gone. So it's pretty sad.
I might run by my shop tomorrow because I know my shop didn't sell out.
Yeah, buy 3 or 4 Flashes. Buy a couple for me.
They did not sell out. They still had stacks and stacks of the week before. So I mean, they just my shop just orders a bazillion. So they don't care.
Yeah, I would say get me 3 Flashes if you would.
Yeah, $2.99 a pop, and then we can resell them for $15. Yeah.
That's right. So overall, pretty good week. 5 great books. I mean, really some good stories. It looks like it's coming out. I've been, like I said, I've been back and forth on the New 52 stuff. I really liked things before. I was a diehard DC fan there for years, just with everything. I mean, I got like every Batman, every Superman for a while. And that was a lot of books, and you're going to the store and you're going, oh, how many books do I have this week? 10 books, and 4 of them are Batman and 3 of them are Superman. It's like, wow. But I mean, I'm not going to get back to that point, but I am going to start picking up some of these that I didn't think I would pick up. So it's good.
Yep.
Overall, week 2, good.
Yep, super pumped. I don't even know what's coming out next week. Let me look real quick.
Yeah, but while Justin's looking at that, be sure to like, share, subscribe. We thrive on that. We do appreciate comment if you would. We do respond to comments, good, bad, ugly, whatever. We've had some ugly ones, so we the people leaving the comments, not the comments. But we don't judge. If you have some weird fetish with fake boobies, it's fine too. You're welcome to leave comments as much as you want. So
I'm still looking.
Okay.
The only Rebirth title we get next week is Titans, which I'm super pumped about because it is Dan Abnett writing it, and it's Brett Booth doing the art. So we're going to get Wally in his new red Flash suit, and the rest of the Titans, which we're going to have Nightwing back instead of Grayson junk. We're going to get Nightwing back. But they're also the books that came out last week, so we're going to get the regular series of Superman, Batman, and Green Arrow are kicking off this week. Also.
Oh, okay, cool. So, and we'll probably pick up those. You're gonna get Green Arrow, right?
Yeah, I'll get Green Arrow. I mean, yeah, I'll get all these. I'll get all 4 of those that are coming out this week just to see where they're going.
Yeah, I will too. So we'll talk to you. We'll do the same thing we've been doing for the one shots and for the first issues. At least to just say, hey, we read the first issues. Here's what we think moving forward. Because you never know. The one shots are like pique your interest, and then the number 1 could be like, oh, okay, that's what you're gonna do. Let's move on. So hopefully it's like, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, hopefully this will be Batman 1. David Finch is doing the art, so it's going to look amazing. and we're gonna have our regular writer without, Scott Snyder sticking in a little bit because he did on that Rebirth issue. Like he didn't want to let go quite yet.
Yep.
So we'll see. We'll see what a completely new Batman story feels like. So that should be pretty good.
Yep, something to look forward to. And be sure to hang out. Next week we'll have this week coming up, we'll have our DC Rebirth review number 3, or week 3. We'll review all 4 of the books that are coming out to talk about those. So if you have questions about stuff, you don't understand why some things are the way they are, in specific, application as it goes to DC Comics, we can't help you with many other things right now. But
we can give our opinion on those things, but
right.
Information.
True. It may not be helpful at all.
Right.
It may just confuse you more. So, but yeah, we appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. Thank you for supporting our channel and supporting Comic Booked in general. Be sure to check out the website, comicbook.com. Check us out on Facebook, Comic Booked, and 2 Comic Book Dudes, as well as we are on Twitter and Instagram and every place else you can possibly think of. We are there.
Yep. Comic Book.
All right. Yep. Neither one of us wearing our shirts tonight, but that's all right.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right. Well, thanks everybody, and we'll talk to you later this week.
Have a good one.